Imagine a world without cities, without writing, without even the wheel. For generations, this was our understanding of the Stone Age. Small, nomadic bands of hunter-gatherers, struggling for survival. But what if that entire picture was wrong? What if, 12,000 years ago, deep in the Anatolian plains of modern-day Turkey, our ancestors achieved something so monumental, so baffling, it forces us to rewrite the very first chapters of human civilization? This isn't a fantasy. This is Göbekli Tepe, discovered by chance in the 1960s but only truly understood since excavations began in 1995. Göbekli Tepe has been called the most important archaeological find of our time, and for good reason. What you're looking at are not just a few old stones. This is the world's oldest known temple, a vast, sophisticated complex of massive stone pillars arranged in circles, built thousands of years before Stonehenge, thousands of years before the pyramids of Giza. Think about that for a moment. The people who built this were, by all accounts, hunter-gatherers. They hadn't yet domesticated animals or cultivated crops. They hadn't even invented pottery. Yet, they managed to quarry, transport, and erect monolithic limestone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons and standing nearly 20 feet tall. How? Why? These are the questions that have sent shockwaves through the worlds of archaeology and history. Let's take a closer look at these incredible structures. The pillars aren't blank slates. They are covered in breathtakingly detailed carvings of animals, foxes, snakes, wild boars, gazelles, scorpions, and vultures. These aren't just random decorations. The artistry is deliberate and symbolic. Some pillars even depict stylized human figures, with hands clasped at their waists, suggesting they might represent powerful beings or ancestral spirits. The sheer scale and organization required to build Göbekli Tepe are staggering. It would have taken hundreds of people working together for a common purpose. This implies a level of social structure and shared belief far more complex than we ever thought possible for that era. It wasn't a village. Archaeologists have found no evidence of permanent settlement, no hearths for cooking, no domestic refuse. It seems people traveled here from far and wide, gathering for specific important reasons. This completely flips a long-held theory on its head. For decades, we believed that agriculture came first, allowing people to settle down and form complex societies, which then led to the construction of temples and shared culture. The saying was, first came the village, then came the temple. But Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite. Could it be that the intense, shared need to build and gather at this sacred place was the very catalyst that pushed humanity towards settlement and agriculture? Did the need to feed the hundreds of workers gathered here spark the agricultural revolution? In other words, first came the temple, then came the village. What was the purpose of this colossal undertaking? The dominant theory is that it was a spiritual center, a place for rituals, ceremonies, and perhaps even astronomical observation. The carvings of vultures, in particular, are intriguing. In many ancient cultures of the region, vultures were associated with death and the sky, believed to carry the spirits of the deceased to the afterlife. Could Göbekli Tepe have been a center for complex funeral rites, a place where the living communed with the spirit world? The mystery deepens when we consider what happened to it. Around 8000 BC, after centuries of use and expansion, the entire site was deliberately and meticulously buried. The great stone circles were filled in with dirt and debris, preserving them perfectly for millennia. Why would a society spend so much effort to create something so magnificent, only to intentionally entomb it? Was it a final, grand ritual? A way to put the old gods to rest as a new way of life, agriculture, took hold? We simply don't have the answers. And here is the most mind-bending part. What we've seen so far is just the tip of the iceberg. Geophysical surveys have revealed that there are at least 16 more massive enclosures still buried beneath the hill. We've only excavated less than 5% of the entire site. What other secrets, what other revolutions in our understanding of the past are still waiting beneath the soil of Göbekli Tepe? This ancient sanctuary is a profound reminder that history is not a closed book. It's a living, breathing story that is constantly being revised and rewritten. Göbekli Tepe shows us that our ancestors were not simple primitives, but creative, organized, and spiritually rich people capable of extraordinary achievements. They looked up at the same stars we do and asked the same big questions about life, death, and our place in the cosmos. And 12,000 years ago, on a remote hilltop in Turkey, they carved their answers into stone, leaving a message across the ages that we are only just beginning to decipher. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the dawn of civilization. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of our past. I'd love to hear your theories about Göbekli Tepe in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning.